welcome back. Today I will be doing the Mama Bear book tag. So I was tagged by Katie over at Paperbacks and Ponytails. I'll leave her channel down below in the description box for you to go check out. But I'm very excited to do this book tag, very close to my mom, so I really wanted to get tagged for this video so I could do one for you guys. So the first question is a book cover that is mostly their favorite color. So my mom's favorite color is red. So this was the reddest cover I can find. It does look a little bit orange in the camera, but I mean, it's a reddish orange, I guess. It is Pages & Co. The Book Wanderers by Anna James. So all the books that I will be sharing I actually have read, so that's cool. The second question is a book published the year they were born. So I was actually able to find one that I owned and I've already read. The Clue in the Old Stagecoach by Carolyn Keene. So this one, the original did come out in 1960 when my mom was born. So I thought that was cool. The next question is a book set in their favorite season. So my mom's favorite season is spring. So I found Nancy Drew Clue book, Springtime Crime by Carolyn Keene. And the next question is a book title starting with a letter in their first name. So I am choosing the first letter in her name, which is Pada. So I chose Portrait of Vengeance by Carrie Stewart Parks. The next question is a book character that reminds you of them. So for this, I chose Nancy Drew. So my logic behind this, I'm choosing The Secret of the Old Clock, is that whenever I read a Nancy Drew book, I think of my mom because she used to read them when she was a teenager. And every time like I'm reading one and she sees that I'm reading one, she's like, oh, you know, it reminds me of my time reading them and how they were always so cozy for her and she really loved them. So often when I'm reading a Nancy Drew book, I am thinking of her. So yeah, although the character of Nancy Drew herself doesn't have anything to do with my mom, there's like no similarities. That was kind of my train of thought. Hopefully it works. So on to the second half of the questions. A book with something they love or love to do. So for that, I chose Head in the Clouds by Karen Wittemeyer. And she is reading a book and my mom loves reading as well. So I thought this was an appropriate book cover. The next question is a book you have enjoyed together. So this one was actually quite difficult because we don't read any of the same genres. So I read middle grade chapter books and Christian fiction, and my mom for the most part reads secular fiction, suspense, mystery. So because they're secular, I don't read her books. But I was able to convince her to try Terry Blackstock's If I Run. So she did read this one, and so we've both read this one and we both really enjoyed this series. So that was really cool because we were able to like talk about the book series, and that doesn't usually happen. So we usually just kind of talk about our individual books, but yeah, it was nice that we were reading, we read the same series. We didn't read it at the same time, but we were still able to talk about that series. The next question is a book you'd recommend or I have recommended to them. So this series, but I will be showing you books 2 and 3. So if I'm found, I recommended her to try the entire series. And if I live, so I recommended her to try this series because I had enjoyed it so much, and she ended up really liking the series as well. So that was cool. Question number 9, a book they recommend or choose for you to read next. So a book that my mom recommended to me to try was A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. This is actually, was hers. She owned the trilogy, and she, recommended me trying it. So I did, and yeah, I've only read the first book so far. I haven't read books 2 and 3, but it was her recommendation and I really did enjoy it. This was a book that she read like quite a few years ago, so before she kind of switched to reading more secular fiction. She was reading Christian fiction back then, so she did have a book to recommend for me, so I did read that one off of her recommendation and a lot of people's recommendations. I mean, it's a really popular Christian fiction book, but yeah, she recommended it as well. And the last question is a book showing strong motherhood. So I feel like that is just a hard question for me in the books that I read. Like, I was looking at my read books and I couldn't really find any that I remembered having a strong motherhood vibe, but I did find one. So this is A Mother's Love by Cheryl Wolverton. So this is one of my ultimate favorite love-inspired books. I've read this one so many times. I read it a lot as a teenager. So this one was definitely a strong display of motherhood. She, well, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't want to give any spoilers, but she ends up, this lady ends up getting pregnant, and she is a single mom, or going to be a single mom, and she is struggling a lot with whether or not she should keep the baby or if the baby's just going to bring her like a lot of bad memories about the father. And yeah, I found it was a very strong display of motherhood as she makes her decisions. Well, I guess based on the title and it being a love-inspired book, you know that, well, she's not gonna not have the baby, but yeah, it was definitely a big display of motherhood and just kind of the main focus of the book as she finds new love. So yeah, I think that was pretty much one of the only books that had strong display of motherhood that I own and that I've read. So yeah, those are the books that I have chosen for this book tag. The last question is to tag other people. I am pretty late to this tag, so I feel like a lot of people have either been tagged in my friends' videos or they've already done the video. But to my knowledge, these people haven't been tagged, or at least haven't done the video yet. So I will be tagging my friend Reese at The Writing Songbird, and I will also be tagging Holly at Lovely Day with Holly. All their channels will be linked in the description if you want to go and check out their channels as well. And hopefully they will give this tag a try. I'd love to hear their answers. And yeah, thanks for being here and watching, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.